everyone. And this time we have also a light candle. This is my second try to record this episode. So the candle is already on. Welcome to my third episode of my knitting podcast. I'm Lina and I'm coming to you from the middle of Germany. I'm a knitter and maker. Usually I use fiber to make something, and I'm also a gardener, and I was an occupational therapist, and yes, I like to learn things and make new things, and yes, I'm a learning human being. Today I have some finished objects, 2 of them, one little work in progress, and then I want to talk a little bit about mending socks, and I want to talk about the neckline, the V-neck of the Nordiska, and a little bit about a new craft. Yes, I hope you have all a very nice holiday with your friends and family and the humans who you love, and yes. Okay, we start about talking the neckline. Someone under the first episode asked something about the neckline. She don't ask, but she is not sure about neckline suits her very well, and so I thought I want to talk about it. This garment has a lot of positive ease. It's very oversized. It is 108 centimeters wide on the bust circumference, and yes, that gives me around about 15 centimeters of positive ease, or 6 inches, and so the fit is already flattering, more open, and so I want the neckline to be more dense. For the main fabric I used 3.75 needles to get a gauge of 21 stitches, I think, 21, roundabout. Yes, and I used a woolen spun fingering weight for this. So the fabric is very drapey and loose, and but because it's a woolen spun yarn, the fibers are not in one direction and pop up and fill up the gaps. Yes, I like this fabric very much. Yes, and the ribbing, therefore I used 2.75 millimeter needles to make it denser, and so the neck won't be so open, and I use Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind-off to fit my head around through it. Yes. So this design has no short rows in the back, so the back sits a little bit lower, as some patterns with short rows, but you can easily fit them in, I think. Yes, I think, for example, when you have oh, that was a nice bird. It's Eichel here in German. They are seen not so often. Okay, and when you have a deep neck, a long neck, maybe you want more circular round neck or a turtleneck, to have the pullover covers your neck better. But when you have a shorter neck, your face is a little bit more on your chest, then maybe you can easily overheat. Maybe when you wear your hair open, and then maybe you want a little more open. And for this case, the V-neck is good. And it's also a style question, I think. A V-neck looks, I think, a little bit chicer, dressed up. Yes, but that's personal preference. So yes, when you don't like when the garment is flattering on your body, it's not the right thing, I think. But yes, you can also, what I often do, wear a shawl over it, so then the garment stays a little bit more on your body on one position. Yes. Okay, and now we are coming to the finished objects. So I made these mittens up. I designed it how I need it. And yes, I need some because my other ones are full of holes, and from the last year winter season I wear them on our organic farmers market, and yes, they become they hold not so long, whether they are out of cotton or wool. And yes, wool is nicer, but because it's warmer. Yes, and we are on Christmas we drive up to the northern Germany, and on Christmas Eve, it was a Saturday. There we have a little market, and we are there to work and to see our family, the family of my boyfriend. There I also work. Yes. Okay, these mittens, I have detailed notes about them, and I think I write a post on Instagram. It's a recipe more or less, and you can easily adjust it. You can knit stitches here more or less. Yes, I try it on for you. I want to fit it very, very snug. I like them better when they are very snug. So here they are. They have a little gusset on the thumb, because then I can move my fingers better. And yes, they are so warm. I have knit them in Nutiden, unspun yarn, and Thrive, and it's also an unspun yarn from Wool and Twine. Here, these I had together, and I used 4.5 millimeter needles. And what is very funny, it was a little bit wet on Christmas, and my hands were warm because I wear the mittens and I am in movement, and I wear them one day and they are felting quite strongly here, and it's so cool because then they are stronger and yes. I had, in the last episode I told you, I have also begun another mitten pattern by Nina Pomeranki, the Advent Mystery Mitten Mystery Knit-along. And yes, the motif was so nice, but I have not the right needle size, and they are too big for me, so I think I rip them back and start with another needle, the recommended one, or maybe a 2.25 sock needle. Yes, but they are so fitted and exactly how I imagine it. And yes, I want also show you how the color is changing when you hold a lighter contrast, a lighter color with the Nutiden together. I have knitted my hat. I've designed it to be a design in the future, but I must figure the design of the pattern out. I have write it all up and graded, but yes, it's a little difficult for me, and I don't like to sit so many hours on the computer. So yes. So here are the knits in comparison. So I hope you can see the color difference. And yes, the mittens are in this combination, and the hat is in this combination. So they are not so different, a little bit, but the contrast, or the yarns I had with the Nutiden are a little bit different, but they have the same fibers in it and the same base. They are a mix of German sheep, and they have both gray undertone, and the dark one has some lighter fibers in it, and the light one has some darker fibers. And now, that's a great point to go to my next finished object, my Aftonsol. This big jumper I knit for my boyfriend for Christmas, and I'm so glad it is finished. It took me so long to knit, so long. It was a labor of love. The body, it was so much stock in it, but yes, it was totally worth it. The fabric is so drapey, and he wears it all the time. He loves it, and it fits him very well. He has a very tall chest, over body, and is very slim. And yes, it was perfect. It is perfect. And when I get to the color work, I want to hold this together. No, I want to use this as the contrast color, the white here, but it was not enough contrast. I love not so contrasty contrast. I lose the word. Low contrast. I love a low contrast, but this I knit six rows into the color work, maybe over here, and I could not see it. I could see it, but it was, I don't like it. So I ripped it back, and yes, I use instead an alpaca. I think it's an alpaca. It's a yarn that I bought over between 10 and 15 years ago in my local yarn store when I was a teenager. And yes, I have bought, I think, 2 skeins for a Norwegian style dress. That doesn't fit me anymore, but the second skein I have in my stash, and by the feel I think it's an alpaca, and it worked as a contrast very well. But the only thing I don't love is that alpaca is so dense and heavy, and it makes the fabric is very different to when I only use a woolen twine storm cloud thrive yarn. And yes, I knit the jumper oversized to my boyfriend's measurements, because he likes to wear big garments. And yes, I modified the pattern a little bit. Not the pattern, but the colorwork pattern. Because you're supposed to, in the pattern, the main color is in the lighter color here. And I want to use the darker color as a main color, but I want the colorwork look the same. And then I modified the colorwork here on the Übergang, on the part, the colorwork motif join. And yes, it worked very well. Here the floats are a little bit long, but I leave it and I don't catch them, and it worked very well. Yes, but I played a little bit yarn chicken. Yes, I played it. I have not enough. I have only 100 grams of the white, and when I have looked on the pattern, right, I could switch these colors. Now here you see the white is the background in the colorwork, and it is so it is written in the pattern or in the chart, and that's the original motif, and I could switch it, and then I have got a little bit more of the white, but I don't have done it. So I have modified this colorwork on the sleeve here. You are supposed to knit the lower part of this colorwork on the sleeve also, and then you knit this white section also on the sleeve. So the colorwork starts here, but I have not the yarn, so I modified the colorwork a little bit. Yes, and Yes, the construction of the sweater, it is knit bottom up, and the pattern, yes, it's very well written. I have no issues to understand it. Some parts I have to read 2 times, but it's okay. When on some parts there is, especially in the neckline area, there are many different things going on the same time, and yes. It's a dropped shoulder design, but my boyfriend, when I'm wearing this, it looks not so nice. It looks not oversized. It looks too big, because the shoulders are the seam of the dropped shoulder sits. It sits on the right place, but because it's colorwork and you work it in a tube up, and you have 2 sticks, one here at the colorwork neckline and 1 and 2 here on the sleeves, and here on this part the fabric is so dense, you flip it over and knit a cover here to hide the stick edge, and yes, that makes this part very dense. Also because I use the alpaca, it's very dense, and if the pullover is for me, it bothers me a little bit, but my boyfriend is okay with it, and yes, I wear it when he's not wearing it, sometimes when I go outside also, because it's very warm, very, very warm. I'm drinking a nice herbal tea. I don't know the word in English from the herb. It's in German, it's Beifuß. I collected last year, I think, or the year before, and that's so nice tea. You normally you use it as a spice for cooking, when you cook some dishes with which are high on fat, maybe a Christmas, how do you say it in English? I say it in German. A Gans. It's a bird, and in Germany you made it sometimes. Some families are made it for Christmas in the oven and yes, Beifuß you can use as a spice for it, because it is good for your liver and for the liver. When you eat a lot of food which has a high content of fat, you help the liver do this. Yes. Okay. So, do I want something? Yes. In the pattern, there are 0 stick stitches here on the arm, and I've done sticking before, and especially an unspun yarn don't move at all, and when I have done these 2 colors. I have probably used this method, but with the alpaca and the slippiness of the alpaca, I thought I must use some stick stitches. So when I started the color work here, I cast on two stitches on every side of the stitch you cut open. Through the back loop I cast it on, and it worked very well. I alternate the colors in the stick stitches. Yes, and this works very well. Here you can see the stick on the neckline. And some people want to see the floats. I can show you. It looks also very nice, I think. I think Teti, the designer, I don't have her last name, Teti Lutzak also. She makes lovely designs, and she uses the technique to the color work to she has the floats not in the back. She has do it on the front. Has to do it. She has you to do it on the front and on the back. So she plays with it with the color work, and it looks very nice in some designs of her. It's so soft. I want to knit me a sweater also in this gauge. Yes. Oh, I forgot. I hold the Thrive yarn single stranded here, of course. So 22 stitches is the gauge of this. Yes. Okay. So, a little work in progress. A sock. I started it on the way back home after Christmas, after we visit my family, and yes, it is sock yarn, Corriedale sock yarn from Wool and Twine in the colorway Mushroom. It's a variegated yarn with some browns and beiges and lilac-y pinks, but in a neutral way, and some white. And yes, it is knit up very nice, and I'm using a pattern with which has Hanna Haferkamp of Making Stories has written it, and it's a simple vanilla sock. Now I know what vanilla means. I don't know that it is a normal English word. I hear it in the knitting community only, and yes, it was very funny. Okay. So it's a classic vanilla sock, but with a Fliegel heel, and this is my absolute most fitted, best fitted heel construction. In genau. It is worked toe up, and it is a very nice car or travel project. But when I knit at home, I don't grab the sock. Oh, when we're playing on Christmas and in the first week of this year, we have family visitors here. My boyfriend's family, his brother and his parents were here in the nearby, and we played with his brother. We played a lot of a game. It's similar to Dungeons and Dragons, but it's with cards, and you play it on the table. Munchkin heißt. Munchkin is the name of the play. I don't know if it's only a German or if it's available in English, but it's very funny. You imagine a lot. It's a role game. Okay, the sock. And on this play, on this game, the rounds are very long, so you have not every time something to do. So I grab this one, and yes, I don't know if Hanna Haferkamp has published it. It was a part of their winter Christmas celebration. Every the first 11 or 12 days of December, they sent an email, a newsletter email with some recipes or cook recipes or knitting recipes, and yes, it was the last recipe of the day, or pattern. It was actually graded pattern, and yes, I think my foot is very, very small, so I cast on 56 stitches in the round. Not I cast on, but I came to 56 stitches on the foot, and I think what I will do, I make for the Fliegel heel, I make 2 sizes bigger, so my foot is shaped more so than flat. So I need for my heel, I need a little bit more room. So I think I could knit the heel of 2 bigger sizes. I think it will work. So yes, and I knit the socks with 2.25 millimeter needle. It is a very dense fabric, yes, and I need them really, but I don't like making them as much as garments. So I said that I also want little bit to talk about some mending. So these are some socks that I made or that I designed last year. They have I knitted them top down, a cuff down with a broken rib. But as you see, they are so big, and I think they have not be good after my test, through my test of wearing them almost every day. Yes, it is a legal heel construction, and this construction don't fit my foot very well. It is too loose. Here is too much fabric, and yes, on the heel I knit them with a 2.5 millimeter needle, and that doesn't work. I love the Mondi Messe sock yarn. It's so soft and sturdy, but because I wear them almost every day in winter, the heel fall apart, and yes, I have, before they are holes, I have mended them, and I try first to duplicate stitch. Here you can see I use unspun yarn, therefore, because I think unspun yarn is felting so fast that that it will eventually work, and on this here it worked very well, but on this I must darn the yarn. Darn. I must. How do you say it? When you pull the unspun yarn, you use this terminology. I'm tired. But today is the only day I can record for a longer time, and so I think I will do this today. Draft, yes. When you draft the unspun yarn, I think I have done it here. And what I have done here, I have weave the yarn, one V under and over and under and over it, over the V's, and then run one row deeper, the same but switched around. When yes, and it worked very well. Maybe you can see it. But this one is already falling apart the second time because I have drafted the unspun yarn. It's a very cool idea, actually. Not really. And I will stitch some weird stitches so it holds up a little bit longer. Yes. Oh, that was all. The first 2 episodes are so long, and I don't expect them to be that long. So I have cast on in this year another project in knitted in yarn in Gegamoya, the colorway brown, and it was it is very nice and it is nearly finished, but I'm talking not about this. This time I want to talk a little bit about spinning, because my whole family and the family of my boyfriend all together, they give me a spinning wheel to Christmas. And yes, I found one used one here, 200 kilometers down east. Yes, and it is a handmade wheel from a woman in northern Germany. She makes them her own, and the wheel name is Nurit. I can link her website down below. She's very much an artist, fiber artist and wood artist, and she also makes some niddy noddies. And yes, it is I don't know really the English terms for spinning, because I watched so much episodes from Shanti Manu. She's a German spinning woman. She likes to do hand spinning on a dropped spindle, and gives courses. And yes, I watched a lot of her spinning YouTube videos, and it helps me a lot. She's very talented and knows so much about sheep breeds, and it's very, very, very interesting. So I have done some experiments. The woman I buy the wheel from, she gave me some yarn to try out spinning, because she said you should try a lot. And so I want I have a BFL fiber that I dyed with yellow onion skins, and it turns green, and the fiber is brown, and I want to spin it and play it together, but I want to practice a little bit more than before. And I have also two Nutiden fibers. One is a I can show you. One is a pinky peachy one. Oh, the candle out of the way. So nice! Oh God. Here there are some reds and some pinks and some oranges and some beiges. And here I have also, it's a blue-gray. Yes. I'm very much into the blues right now. I have a design idea for a shawl and swatched a lot, and I love blue at the moment. But yes. Oh, I can sleep on it. Here is the color. I hope you can see it. So that's a roving. The fibers are in all directions. So I cannot. I'm very new to spinning. I have practiced a little bit, but not so much. this fiber you can, I think you can spin a woolen spun from, but when you want to spin a woolen spun, you make a long draft. So you make not this, you let the spin into the fiber, and I don't know the English terminology. Yes, but at the moment I'm spinning some wool that I also have dyed with brown onion skins, and I love this color. It's bright, dark, bright, a very intense orange, and this fiber I get when I have started the sorry, excuse me. When I started the working with a drop spindle, and it is I think it's a German merino. It's not so soft as a usual merino, but I feel when I first spun this, maybe I could show you. I went very thin, and the yarn is flipping and breaking, and I think that's because the fibers are so short, and the fibers of the merino are very short. Yes. So here up, this I have done some days ago. Yes, and it's, I don't know, but it looks very consistent. When I will apply it, it maybe isn't. I will see. And I'm very happy. I want also to say something about the process, because I imagine it to be very easy for me, because I'm very handy person and I love to do things with my hands, and I'm used to it. But the process of spinning, it's a so different movement. It was a complete new thing. Rather than I had done practice using a drop spindle, but it was totally different, I think, and I feel the spinning is a little bit like playing a instrument with a violin or cello or bass. I don't know the English term, like when Streichinstrument, when you have when you have the terminology, when you have a thing with hair of horses. the and you do yes. I think you know what I mean. For me, I don't play an instrument like this. I learned to play the piano, and my mother had one, and when I'm there I'm improvising, but I don't play cello or something. I want to, but maybe one day. And I don't know why, but I think it feels like playing this instrument to spin, and my head is exploding. It is so nice to make something new, something very new, and to feel that your brain is so much working and you learn so much. I like to do some things parallel at the same time. I listen to audiobooks when I'm knitting, or listen to some podcasts, or sometimes I read a book while I'm doing this. And as a child I was drawing and listened to something. I want to do always some things together to stimulate my brain on different things at the same time. But when I learned spinning, I'm so focused on this, and that was a very nice experience. And to feel your brain so much working, it's very cool. And yes, it's like dancing another choreography, that you don't know, or yes, make something new. So maybe I will talk a little bit about my future plans. So when I finished my pullover and the knitted in yarn, I will talk in the next episode about it. I have also another project in mind, two actually, or three. In another Thrive yarn from Wurzeliebe, Jacky of the Knitting a Good Yarn podcast with Carmen together. She has shown a knitting pattern, a jacket cardigan with a cool construction. I have this pattern in my Ravelry favorites a long time. It is a pattern by Albina McLaughlin, and it is a circle, and you knit out, and then you put arms in it, and then you knit out. You knit a ribbing, and it's a big collar, and yes, I think it was so nice, and I want to knit it. And I looked on some other patterns of Albina McLaughlin, and she has some very good ones. One I want to knit forever, but she has a hood, and that is very cool. I have this pattern already, and she has also a coat. And in the first episode, I told you that I am in the progress of designing a coat, but it was too much. I think I will start with a smaller projects and not with a coat. Yes. But this coat was very nice. It has also a tie, so I could use my yarn with I have already dyed it. I have very much of it. The Roald yarn from Frida in Düsseldorf. It's a local yarn. Oh, I would really like to do this because Brittany of Crooks Fibers, she's in Canada. She does a knit along, a low mileage knit along. You use some wool which is produced and comes from the in the near you live, nearby, and this wool yarn is definitely in this category. And yes, I want to. It can be a fun project for this little log. Yes, and my brother my brother said to me that he wants a hat. I I asked him. I have this Zauberballwolle in my stash a little while ago. I have this, and I don't like the feeling so much because it's a superwash yarn and it has polyamide in it. But for my brother, what he imagined it to be, it was a nice option. He asked me for a lighter hat, and so he can wear it. He wears hats as an accessory, not so much for warmth, like a beanie or so, a hipster hat over the ears, and he asked for a light one, and I think that this one would suit this purpose. And yes, he can also wash it in the washing machine, so that's a nice option. So yes, I think that was all, and I hope you found something interesting in this episode, and maybe you learned something or you have an idea to cast something new on. And yes, all what I say about I link in the description box below. And yes, I will write Instagram post, or for those of you who have not an Instagram account, I will do a Ravelry page for the mittens. Yes, because I have all write it up and want to share it with you. Yes. So I hope you have a lovely day or night or whenever you watch this. And yes, feel free to contact me, or when you have a question about what I say. And yes, on Instagram there I am also Wurzeliebe. And yeah, okay. We see us in another episode, maybe in 2 weeks or 3 or so. We will see. Bye!